Hi Jay, what an honor and a privilege to be here this evening with you to celebrate your outstanding career in the broadcasting industry. It was about 40 years ago that I first bumped into you when you were doing a show at CHAB in Moose Jaw. Chuck McCoy and myself were heading to Moose Jaw to try and find some new talent for 630 CHED. And while we were driving over from Regina to Moose Jaw, about a 45-minute drive, we heard this outstanding talent on the air and immediately decided we needed this particular talent at 630 CHED to add to the repertoire of all the many stars that had already been through 630 CHED, knowing that we had found another star.
Oh, girl. The zookeeper is loose. How are ya? Jungle J, your nighttime zookeeper is on the air. Scott Neeson home, cooking best, looking God, wretched guitar, screaming, drum, kicking, ball, busting, bass slapping, hand clapping, brain banging, high energy, explosive, rock and roll.
Well, I worked with Jay in the 80s at 630 CHED when he was doing evenings and I was Janet from Another Planet. And my overriding impression of Jay was he was just a guy who was living large. I mean, I'll never forget one time, this is when he was king of the nightclubs, and he said to me, watch this. And he called ahead to one of the clubs and said something to them. Then we were in his car, I think it was a convertible, we screech up to the club, and 2 drinks are waiting for us at the bar. He just had it ready to go. He didn't even have to wait to order anything. It was just boom, we were into it. And he was the wildest guy I had ever met in my life. I remember one time in kind of a pensive moment, I said to him, Jay, what is your story, man? Like, you go so fast and you're just everywhere and doing everything and you're so crazy on the air. And, he said to me, look, my mom has Huntington's disease and there's a 50% chance that I might get it. And so I'm just going to live my life and big. And I'm just going to not look back with any regrets that I left anything on the table. And you know what? I have admired Jay for that for the rest of my life, because I've thought back to that and he didn't know what a burden that he had his whole life that was looming over him, but he didn't let it prevent him. In fact, it propelled him into just being terrific, both on the air and a great friend to many people. So I admire Jay tremendously for living his life and being such a wild and crazy guy.
Looks like a road that you travel on when there's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside the darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore. With a brave heart free and lover's soul, come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate, break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today.
Hey Jay, great to be a part of this big night, and got so many memories of working with you and all the fun that we had. And you used to come on after me. I was kind of the classic sort of tight, bright jock, but you, on the other hand, were this huge personality. And maybe not always tight, but always a huge personality. And I know that our listeners loved it, and the ratings were great, and just a lot of memories. And I wish you all the best, my friend.
Hey Jay, I was thinking about what I was going to talk about and all of the shenanigans that we got up to back in the nighttime at CHED. And one of my favorite memories is when you helped Brenda and I orchestrate the infamous Kate Gorman bridal shower at your house. So I have many fond memories of you, my friend, and I just wish you ease and grace on this journey that you're on, and just knowing that you are always surrounded by support and people that care about you, just like tonight. So all the best. Enjoy celebrating you.
Love you, Jay.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume.
I think one of my best memories of Jay was way back in the late 70s. We were both at Ched. He was doing swing, so we wouldn't really see each other a whole lot, and I really didn't know him that well. Anyway, he and Brad Phillips were roommates living in an apartment downtown, and they decided to have a Halloween party. So I went to this Halloween party dressed as a nerd. And I can't remember what Jay was dressed at, but there was about 30 or 40 people there. And somebody forgot to tell all these beautiful women that it was a Halloween party because they all came to kill, so to speak. Anyway, Jay and I are, talking, and the evening is unfolding, and I think I'm into my 23rd drink or whatever. And he's behind the bar, and I go behind the bar to refresh my drink. And the next thing I know, he sticks a slice of pizza in my pocket. I'm wearing this jacket. He's right in my pocket. And I look at him, and I just kind of smile. And there was a glass of, I think it was rum and Coke there on the bar. I took the glass of rum and Coke, and I poured it in his shirt pocket. Well, that set into motion this whole scene that within a few minutes, all these people were gathering around the bar, watching Jay and I, pouring every manner of drink, every bit of food, stuffing it into each other's pants, into our shirts. I remember pouring a full glass of beer on his head. And the thing is, you have to remember, we didn't exchange a single word. We didn't say a word while all this is happening. It was just like he'd stick something into my jacket, and I'd just give him a look for a second, and then I'd look around, pick something, pour it on his head, and on this went. And people thought that there was going to be a fight. A fight was going to break out or whatever. Anyway, when we had pretty much run out of everything that was around, we just looked at each other and kind of exploded into laughter. And that was my first real encounter with Jay.
Hey Jay, it's Danny Kingsbury in Ottawa, Canada. You also know me as Danny K. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there tonight to say these words to you in person along with all the other people that you have in the room, but I certainly wanted to take advantage of the great offer that Daryl Hook made to me to send along a little bit of videotape. Isn't technology amazing? You know, a lot of people don't know that Jay and I go back a long way. In fact, I knew him as Bruce Hammond way back in the day. We met at the Warehouse Restaurant. Yeah, that was a long time ago, maybe 1974. I was a coat check boy, and I think you were a waiter. I think you were always a waiter, as I remember. Then I got promoted to busboy, and then I spilt water on people, so then I got sent into the kitchen to be a dishwasher, and then I eventually ended up being a cook. All the same time, you were being a waiter and charming the girls and making lots of money and tips. And then I remember we both got a job at Smith & Backus restaurant. I think I went first to Smith & Backus, and you followed me over there, and we had some good times there. Do you remember the keg parties that we used to hold? We would put posters up on the bulletin board and say there's a keg party at the house, and the house was famous. It was on 126th Street, was it? Yeah, right in that area, right off 124th Street, and that was a rockin' house. Anyhow, we'd close the restaurants up, start at 1 o'clock in the morning, have keg parties at the house. We'd charge people, and the rules were you could come and drink beer and drink all you want, or until it ran out. And usually it ran out. And I think we made some half-decent money. I'm pretty sure it wasn't legal what we were doing. I don't think you could open up a bar privately back in those days. Anyhow, I digress. I remember all during that time that you were always talking about becoming a radio announcer. We both grew up listening to Ched, wanted to be DJs, and you took the Columbia School of Broadcasting course and then got a job in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and that was a big deal. We all thought you were kind of a big deal back then. And then you came back early on that and ended up getting a job at CKSA in Lloydminster. And when you left CKSA, you told the guy in charge, Ken Ruptash, that you had just the guy for your job, and it was me. So I applied for the job. I got it. I don't know how. And you went to CHAB and I went to CKSA. And then when you left CHAB, they needed a replacement, and guess who got the job? Yep, it was me. So it was pretty awesome. I followed you around a lot, that's for sure. It was a lot of great times. It was so great when I got back to working at Ched with you in 1979, and not sure we always said it was our dream come true, but it was pretty funny how a couple of restaurant guys who would hold keg parties would end up working at Ched and having a great time. A couple of really great memories with you. I remember I had a white Corvette and you had a black Corvette, and we would drive around and we'd go to the Ched house parties, the rock and roll parties with the rock and roll dice, the Ched Party Patrol. In fact, that's how I met Don. And we had some fun times, no question about it. I do know this about Jay as well, that he always drove great cars. The Grand Prix, he had a Riviera. The Riviera was amazing. I know that he likes his steak blue rare. He always got me to throw it on the grill, warm it up, and then put it on the plate. You know, how many times in a lifetime can you be working and, you know, have Muhammad Ali over at Fern Trail's house? Or have Wayne Gretzky for breakfast at Jimmy's house? We did a lot of great promos and had a lot of fun. And I really treasured my time with you, and I absolutely credit you for getting me into this wacky business. And it'll be 40 years in January, so that's been a while. My friend, I hope you are well. I wish again I could be there. I'm sorry I'm not, but I do wish everyone well, and I wish you well, and I hope to stay in contact with you, and we will chat soon.
Hey, 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 it's Jungle Jay. We're here to honor him on a fine Wednesday. CJCA Capital Power and Ched 630. He lit them up with smokers and ballads and some of that hurdy-gurdy. He played the tunes that defined our lives as we dated and became husbands and wives. It was Jungle Jay and the Nighttime Zoo. He could make you happy. He could make you blue. Just crack that mic. Talk to the post. A DJ who always gave his most. I wrote about him in my memoir book, How He Got Us a Pizza Without Having to Cook. A legend with radio to his very soul. Jay, you helped build this city on rock and roll. We love you, Jay. Have a great evening. I'm Bob Layton.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built